When it came time to book and everything, half of the people that we invited did not book. Like they had no intentions on coming, weren't coming from the beginning,
Mm.
had nothing to do with COVID. So it's like, why am I choosing to go to a resort that I absolutely hate?
Mm.
And the people that I was accommodating for, they're not even coming. So we're like, yeah, we're not doing that anymore. So then we decided to postpone and we completely switched our destination. So now we're in Jamaica.
Hi, Alexis.
Hello.
Welcome. I'm so happy to have you.
I'm happy to be here. I'm so honored.
Yes, yes, yes. Awesome. You are a longtime Dusty lover, quite frankly. Been in the community
Hmm.
since the beginning.
Hmm.
And I appreciate you sharing your we're going to call this Alexis's pre-prep.
Yes.
Pre-prep, pre-wedding prep, something like that. I'll make it more
Hmm.
interesting once it's done. But
Hmm.
you are almost married, is that right? Well,
Um,
actually,
technically married, almost wed at the wedding.
yes, yes, your wedding is
Yeah.
around the corner, right?
Yes, yes. But we got
Okay.
married in October.
Yeah. So, for anyone who doesn't know you, do you mind introducing yourself, when and where, and all that good stuff?
Yes, absolutely. So, hello everybody. I'm Alexis. I'm from Buffalo and I'm currently 26. I am getting married at the Pattoo Castle in Negril, Jamaica. And my wedding is May 7th. So, yeah, we're
Yeah,
almost there.
almost there.
Almost there.
And what is your hubby slash fiance? We're gonna call him fiance slash. We'll slash him for the
Hmm.
moment. What's his name?
His name is Robert. I probably should have included him in my introduction because, it is his wedding too. But his name is Robert.
Yes, he knows.
He does. He
Robert.
does.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. We're just talking right now. You know how I could do
Mhm.
too. So, um,
Mhm.
so one thing that was very interesting is you have many things that are interesting about you, but
Mhm.
you are COVID Dusty Bride.
I
So
am.
can you talk about your story? I'm trying not to spoil
Ab-
it too much. So,
Absolutely. Okay, so originally I was getting married in Riviera Maya at the now Natura. And that was going to be June 3rd, 2021. So I got engaged literally, I think in like 2018. So this has been a long time coming. So I think in 2020, no, no, 2019 is when we told all of our family, we're going to destination. And then we started planning. The reason that we picked that resort is because at the time it wasn't finished being built yet. And I really wanted a resort that was going to have a terrace because I did not want to get married in the sand, but I wanted the water to be in the back, so I wanted a terrace. But I also wanted it to be very cost efficient for my family. So it was between Jamaica and Mexico. I wasn't really seeing too much in Jamaica that I liked, and I had been to Mexico before, liked it. So yeah, so we were like, okay, this is a resort, and it's going to be brand new. We got a really good rate on it because we booked it before it was built,
mm,
and so it was going to work out great. So then, we're planning, getting ready to go. COVID hits, so everyone in my party scared. Everyone's like, what's going to happen? Me and Rob are like, we're still going. So,
I remember that.
so
Yep.
yep, we're still going. So then we got a chance to go and visit the resort. Normally they give you like if you go before you book, they give you a rate. Um, my resort for some reason extended. I'm assuming because of COVID, but they extended that offer to us after we had already booked. So we got a really good rate. Went down to go see the resort and absolutely hated it. And like it was a lot about the resort that I did not like. But at the time, I was already booked. This is where my family, we were going to go. And yeah, so, but the biggest expectation at that time was that 2021, COVID would be gone. Like everyone that we just knew. Everyone's like, COVID's going to be gone. My wedding is going to be fine. We're going through this now. It's going to be great. So, my final payment date was in February of 2021. And I believe in January, they switched it to requiring a negative COVID test to come back into the US. So that scared the heck out of me, scared the heck out of my family. And literally, it was because I did not want them to have to stay somewhere for an extended period of time because of my wedding. So at that point, I was also pregnant at the time. And it was just like a lot going on. And I'm talking to my travel agent. She's like, we can have it. You can postpone it. You can cancel it. I honestly wanted to cancel. But I didn't want my guests to lose out on their deposit. So we're like, okay, well, maybe we'll just push it to next year and make it a family vacation or something and just get married. But then, me and Rob, we sat down and we had a conversation, and we just kind of said, F that. So, just from I don't know, I don't feel like, and that was another thing too, which was a huge reason. So like, we wanted to accommodate for our guests. We wanted them to have be able to come and have a good rate and not have to pay too much. So overall, for their flight and their stay, for I think 3 days, 4 nights, or how I reverse that one, it was like $1,100. That's all they would have to pay, which is a really great rate for that amount of time. But when it came time to book and everything, half of the people that we invited did not book. Like, they had no intentions on coming, weren't coming from the beginning, had nothing to do with COVID. So it's like, why am I choosing to go to a resort that I absolutely hate? And the people that I was accommodating for, they're not even coming. So we're like, yeah, we're not doing that anymore. So then we decided to postpone, and we completely switched our destination. So now we're in Jamaica.
Okay. Yes. So you guys see, y'all see why we had to get on. And yes, the community has been there with you all the way through. Yes. You've been sharing and updated. Yeah, you've been sharing, you've been empowering, and I'm so excited that it's happening,
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So how did you guys go about canceling? Did you guys lose deposits, or what happened with that?
So, that's where COVID kind of helped us out a little bit. So one, because our resort, was not open, we only put down $100 to hold our entire wedding. We didn't, so there was that. And then we did room blocks where I think we had to do 20 or so room blocks or something, or no, we had to have 10 rooms booked. So we had our wedding party do that. So our entire thing was booked, and it was only off of $100. So when it came time to cancel, it was I just emailed the wedding planner. I'm like, hey, I'm not having a wedding here anymore. So, and most of my vendors I was flying in. So it's not like I had booked most of the people, in Mexico yet. And, I don't know, I was just kind of waiting a little bit too, just to kind of see what happened once COVID hit, to start booking people, because it literally, I want to say, if we told them, no, we might have told them in 2018. Either way, when COVID hit, it was just like, yeah, let's just kind of slow down just a little bit, and as long as we can wait. And my motto with buying vendors was unless I completely love them, I can wait. I can kind of hold off on it. So we only lost $100 deposit that we put down.
Wow. That's awesome. Yeah. It makes me think about Nicole. I don't know if you got to see Nicole's interview yet, but she lost a lot.
Yeah,
going from one to the next, but everybody's story and, experience is different. So I think, having the brand new resort absolutely was helpful.
Yeah, it definitely was.
Yeah. And the right smack in the middle of COVID thing, of course, too. So finding okay, hold on. Actually, you said something I'm sure people are like, hold on, what? So you were planning a wedding and you found out that you were pregnant.
Yes, I did. I did. And I bawled my eyes out because what, ma'am? Like, this is not the plan. This is not the plan. Yeah, no. So, yeah. I mean, that's where COVID played a part too, you know.
Gave you all the opportunity, all the space or lack of
It
space
did.
and opportunity.
It did definitely did. Like, and it was completely unexpected. Like, I had no clue I was pregnant at all. Like, and it's crazy because I was getting married next year, so I'm like, well, this year I'm going out all the time. Like, I'm living my life. I'm traveling. I'm doing everything because I'm not to say that you cannot do those things when you get married because you can, but you know, you got to do it more wifely. So I'm like, I'm doing
The
everything.
wifely.
I'm doing everything. And literally, like, the first event, like, it was like my best friends, we were all turning 21 that year. Best friends, no, 25, because that
I'm
would
about
have
to
not worked out
say,
well.
huh? Hold
Math is
on
not
now.
math.
Okay.
We were all turning 25 that year. So, my first best friend's birthday, we're getting ready to go. I needed to go to the doctor. I go to the doctor. They're like, yeah, you know, we can help you with this, but did you know you're pregnant? I'm like, I'm like, ma'am, I'm not pregnant because I'm getting married next year. Like, she's like, no. I'm like, yeah, no. Like, I got a wedding, like, in Mexico. What are you talking about? Like, yeah. So that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
But you were absolutely beautiful. And talking about trips, you took a trip pregnant, and there's a specific photo that I'm gonna, if it's okay with it, I'm gonna end up screenshotting it. It's the one with the hat. Like,
Absolutely.
I love you in that little video with your belly and your
Yes,
hat.
yes,
Like,
yes,
I was
yes.
just like,
That was our site visit.
oh, was it?
Yep, yep. So I took
Okay.
advantage of having the package that they gave us as my baby move. So like we could knock all this out in one. So I did. I went to go visit. I picked out like all of my decor, food, everything. We took maternity pictures, all in that one trip.
Wait. And that's Mexico, the Mexico trip.
Yep,
Because at
that was
that
the
point you
Mexico trip.
hadn't. Oh,
Mm-mm.
wow. Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good
Mhm.
idea. Oh, but yeah,
Mhm.
you're so pretty. And now you
Yeah.
have a
Thank you.
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful baby.
Yes, and I don't even think I could imagine my wedding without her now. So I'm glad she did find her way into
Yeah.
the wedding of my life. So, you know.
Okay, so when things were happening, well, actually, since she's coming, are you gonna have kids, or is this an adult only affair, or?
So, it's always been mainly adults only, but I want my sister's kids to be there. So, I have a niece and a nephew, they're twins, and then she has her older daughter, and I already knew that I wanted them to be there. So I always made it clear, when like on my invitations, I always said, you know, I would prefer that this is adults only, but if you do plan on bringing your child and need to bring your child, just reach out to me first and let me know so we can talk about it because that that had already played a part in what resort I picked, which is why I ended up at that resort as well.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, it's been clear that I did not want children. But I understand, like, you know, sometimes some people can't bring their kids. But honestly, all I have is my sister's kids, and I think one other person might be bringing their kid, but everybody else wanted to leave their children.
Yeah, that tends to be
Yeah,
the case, you know.
they wanted to
Depending
leave
on
us.
the crew, you know,
Yeah.
parents tend
Hmm.
to be on your worst behavior too. We found out
Yeah.
for our wedding, so
Yeah. Hmm.
no kids, woo, we
Literally.
out.
So yeah.
Okay, so once you guys decided that you were postponing and gonna regroup and do this all over again, so this is another
Hmm.
like wedding all over again. How did you decide on your destination? What did you guys do?
Hmm. So for us, I've been in Facebook groups. I'm in a lot of Facebook groups about destination wedding planning. And this one bride in particular, she had posted this castle literally like when maybe in the middle of me planning in Mexico. And I'm like, wow, that is absolutely beautiful. But when I went to go look, this is when I already had Mexico. I'm like, it's like 2 hours. It's in Negril. So Negril is like an hour and a half to 2 hours away from the airport. So I'm like, oh, we could have never done that anyways, because like, I want my guests to be close, like to the airport, But once we said, we're doing a 360, I said, Rob, I'm getting married where I want to get married at. Like, at this point, I'm only doing this one time. And I hated the fact that when I went to go look at that resort, I hated it. Like, I'm like, I don't like anything about this. And I kind of already figured that I wouldn't, just because of how it was explained, but it was going to work out for my guests. But I'm like, no, not this time. So I had already seen the castle, and I'm like, that is where I want to go. So I reached out to the owner of the castle first, made sure it was available. Once it was available, we like, it's a go. So, and I also knew that I wanted to find a resort that was beautiful enough that I did not need that much decor. Reason being, when I was at the resort in Mexico and I started looking at the prices that we were talking about for all the decor that I wanted, I was at like $30,000 for just decor, like not the wedding package, not my travel, not my anything. It was just decor, and this was going to be at a resort that I hated. So I'm like,
so you were trying to really compensate for how much you hated it and kind of over designing because you had to.
Well, not necessarily. I'm a very over the top person, and
so it was going to be extra anyway.
It was going to be extra regardless, but but I knew that I would be able to save costs if the place looked beautiful. Like if the place by itself was a statement piece, you don't need that much decor. So in the castle, it's a castle. Like, who doesn't want to get married at a castle, So I'm like, yeah, we about to shock them with this one. We're doing it at the castle. So, so yeah, that's how we ended up doing it that way.
Okay. And then where are your guests staying, or where is everybody? Because the castle only holds, so actually, how many guests? Where are we with numbers?
So now final numbers, we're at about 45. And that was from, I think I might have invited about 80 and then confirmed when we were not confirmed, because those people were not confirmed. But saying that they were coming, we were looking at about like 60 to 70 almost, and now we're down to 45.
Okay.
But the castle holds 16 to 18, I believe. It depends on if you have like couples who need their own room or different things like that. So Robert and I did not want to stay at the castle because we wanted to actually be with our party. So we're all staying at the Royalton Negril, which is about, I think, like a 15 to 20 minute drive to the castle.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. Is that where, let me not even make that up. I feel like maybe Keita got married there.
She did.
She did, right? Okay.
Yep, yeah. She did.
Shout out to Keita. She's pregnant.
I know. I'm so happy. No, her dress. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was great.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, we got to talk about that too.
We do.
Now I have to think about what we're going to talk about now and what we're going to talk about later. So we'll see where the time takes us. But there's so much to your all of this. So much to your story. Okay, so 45 guests. And we know where we're going to be, and you're going to stay. Are you going to? Okay, so everybody's staying at the hotel, right?
Everyone's staying at the hotel. Wedding night will stay at the Royalton.
So everyone leaves, and you guys. No. Say that again. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm sorry, not the Royalton.
You'll stay at the castle. Okay.
They'll stay at the Royalton. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's nice. You guys will stay at the castle, all married, and then bye, y'all. We'll be at the castle. See you. Yep. And who's staying with baby?
So, we are currently working that out because I plan on having a schedule. So each and every day, someone will take part in watching Ryan. Though they may not know it now, they are. But no, so my one cousin, her mom is coming because she's bringing her younger baby. So I'm pretty sure a majority of the time, Ryan will be with her because my mother made it very clear that she's not watching any children when she's there. Oh. So very clear.
She's on vacation.
Very,
she's straight.
Yeah.
She's not grandma.
She said she's not watching nobody's kids. So for the most part, I'm pretty sure she'll be with my cousin's mom. But also too, Robert doesn't really like, he likes to just kind of sit and chill. And he really loves Ryan. So I'm pretty sure he'll probably be with her for the majority of the time too. So,
Okay.
we're working out a schedule.
Yeah.
It'll be in their welcome bag. It's like, this is your scheduled day to watch Ryan.
Welcome. She's on her way. She will be there.
Yep. Yeah. Make sure the baby doesn't drown. That's all we ask.
That's all we ask, right? Feed her and make sure she doesn't drown. Oh,
yeah. So, yeah.
So how did, I guess, okay, rewind to just deciding on destination to begin with. Where do you guys live? You guys are in New York?
Yep, we live in Buffalo.
Okay. And is most family in New York, or where's everybody for the most part?
Most of our family is in New York, and we have some family in Charlotte. So it's pretty much just between the two.
Okay. And actually something I always ask, but I didn't because of just the nature of this. How did you and Robert meet?
Oh, yeah, that's nice. So Robert and I, we went to high school together. I met him my freshman year. I think it was like, I'm not even going to say the year because I don't know. I don't even want to lie. And then y'all going to be like,
don't make me old. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right.
We ain't going to do that. But I met him my freshman year. And he had asked me to be his girlfriend literally every single year. Every year.
Are you
guys
the same age?
Yep. Same age, same grade. He was in like my English class. And like, so he asked every single morning, we would like wake up early, get on like the earliest train to get downtown. And he would buy me a donut from Tim Hortons every morning. Like every single, like it was one day he went and bought me a donut. Every day since then, he bought me a donut. And then he asked me to be his girlfriend. I'm like, I don't want to be a girlfriend. So then like every year, like we would go through this like early in the morning. I don't even know if my mama knew where I was going, but we would wake up very early, go get these donuts, walk down to school together. And he would ask me again, and then I would say no. And then senior year, he was like captain of like the football team. I was captain of the cheer team, and everybody, oh yeah, might as well. And I'm like, I ain't dating Rob. Like, and so then he asked me again, and I told him no. And he told me that he had other options, and I needed to make up my mind. And so I said, yeah. And we've been together ever since.
He said, stop playing. Okay, look now. I've been asking you all these years, but stop playing.
He said, stop playing with me. And he's such a quiet soul. Like for him to say that, I'm like, yeah, let me get myself together.
Right. He means that. No, right. Yeah, he meant that.
Very much so. Yeah, he did. So we've been together ever since.
Oh, and yeah. How long were you together till he proposed? How did that go down?
So
assuming that he proposed. I'm always assuming that one day someone's gonna be like, I propose, actually.
Literally, when you get that one, tag me because there's gonna be a beautiful story.
Yes.
But no, so we dated through college. I went out of town for college for about 2 years, then ended up coming home. He would drive every weekend down to my college to come and spend a weekend with me, and then he would drive back. And then when I switched to my college at home, it was at graduation, and after I graduated, we were all walking out. He had my friends get a sign, and it had like my pictures on it. And I'm like, oh, it's so cute. And then he flips it, and it says, "Will you marry me?" And I turned around, and he was there, and it was all cute. He had a photographer and everything. It was just so cute. So yeah, he was on my mom and like my sister and everybody was there. So yeah.
Oh, y'all are so cute. Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
Yeah, see stuff I didn't know. High school. Y'all are high school sweethearts. I don't care the whole time, clearly. Mm-hmm. And
if you ask him, he'll say that we were dating since freshman year. That's what he
clearly. I'm with him on that.
I wouldn't agree. I would not. That math does not match.
I would not. You just didn't admit it until the senior year.
I guess, but I never said that he was my boyfriend though. Like
every time you took them donuts and you got up early in the morning, okay, that was the proposal. Then you getting up early every morning, you eating these donuts.
No, Marie, like you're my girlfriend.
Yes, that is girlfriend activity. Okay,
so I want to say we were dating maybe probably. Yeah. Between college and the end of college. That's how long we were dating before he proposed.
Oh, I just love it. Oh, that just makes it that much sweeter. I love that. Oh. And then was destination off the rip? That was going to be it?
No, so we had went and looked at a bunch of venues here. And once again, I'm a very extra person. So I'm like a down to the like not down to the details and it has to be this way, but down to the details and like I know like what I vision myself walking into and the venues here just weren't really it. When we finally found one venue, it was the Aloft Hotel downtown. It had just been built and they had a beautiful big ballroom. It had like an upstairs and a downstairs. It was great. But they were asking, I want to say maybe about 16 to 17,000 just for food.
Okay.
And that included nothing else. And it was a huge room, so I knew I would need a lot of decor. And so, I mean, that was still the plan though. And also at home, there were going to be way more guests. Like, so we're looking at like 100 to 200 people because both of our families are like his family isn't big, but my family's huge. And like, if my mama's involved, she wants her friends to come, her friends' kids to come, like everybody gonna
co-workers, everybody.
Yeah, and I already wasn't feeling that, and I also wasn't feeling the fact that you know, I normally weddings you get wedding gifts. I did not think. I know that my gifts that I got probably wouldn't be that great. So I'm like, why am I spending all this money? Like I'm just out of money. So I'm like, this is just not making sense to me. I don't know.
All these people and I ain't about to get much anyways.
Like, not to say that weddings are so that you can get gifts. I'm not
you keeping it real
that.
though. No, completely.
Yeah, but like to be like, so I was at work one day and a coworker, he was going to a wedding. He's like, oh yeah, I'm going to gift them like $200 or like $200 to $500. And I'm like, you give gifts? No, I'm like, you give gifts at what? Like, I didn't even know, like, as a kid, nobody gave no gifts at no wedding I'd ever been to. So I'm like, yeah, not for 16,000. Nah, you're not. I don't know. I don't know. So it was still that was still what we were going to do. Either way, we we're going to make it work. So then I took a trip to Cancun and it was absolutely beautiful. I took one picture on my phone, just like of me in the background, and I'm like, this is so beautiful. Like I literally FaceTime Robert. I'm like, wouldn't you love to get married here? And he's like, I mean, I guess we can talk about it. I'm like, okay, cool. So then I went home and I was getting my nails done, and my nail artist, she's like, oh yeah, I had a destination wedding. It was at a resort. I want to say she paid maybe like, she's like, yeah, overall I paid like $10,000. I'm like, dollars? That's it? Like, that's all you pay? She's like, yeah, you know, you just go to the resort, you get married on the beach. That's it. And I'm like, you know, these two things are really making sense to me. So I went home, had a conversation with Robert, told him about the pricing, and it just made sense just because I knew I wanted to cut down my guest list because half of those people I don't even talk to, but I knew I would have to invite them because I was at home. Right. So I knew it would cut down on the guest list. If you didn't bring a gift, that's cool, but you did have to pay to get here. And it was going to be something that I loved. Like, I looked at it like, I really love this. And with Rob, it's pretty much like, if it makes me happy, he's okay with it. So, yeah, that's how we ended up with Destination.
Okay. And any family pushback? I know you were saying like your mom wanted to have, you know, all of the things, or your family is so big. When you announced it would be Destination, was it like anything or?
To my face, no.
That's all that matters, quite frankly.
To my face, no. Like, it was, everybody's like, oh, okay, yeah, it's gonna be fun. Plus, my family travels, like, not overseas that much, but they do, like, we do family reunions every year, and then we do cruises and different things like that. So my family's used to traveling. Okay. His family doesn't travel as much, so it may, I did have some pushback. So his dad initially was just like, yeah, we probably won't be able to make it. So I'm like, okay, well, you know, things happen. But I think eventually he was going to be able to make it anyways. But yeah, it was more so just his side of the family. But a lot of them don't travel, and destination weddings can be like kind of scary. Like if you haven't been anywhere, it's like, that's a lot of money, a lot of stuff going on. Then COVID hit, so yeah, but not like a crazy response to what we said.
Right. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then the shift. So when you said we're not doing Mexico, we're doing Jamaica now. Did you resend invitations? Did you invite different people, less people?
So what I did at that point was, because at that point everyone had to put their deposits down for their room at least. Because when I canceled, it was literally like a couple weeks before our final payment would have been done. So I had already, the way I communicated with my guests was a Facebook group. So I just kind of made a live, and I just kept making live videos, just kind of, I made one initially when they changed the requirements to let them know, hey, just so you know, something may change. I made another live once it did change, and then I made another live once we confirmed what the new destination would be. So I didn't have less people, so I just literally just shifted the same people who already paid their deposits here. If there were people who were like, oh yeah, I'm still put a deposit down, I just didn't include them in the Facebook group, or I removed them for the Facebook group at that point.
Right.
And then I did have I met new friends because I was engaged for a long time. Right. So I met new people along the way, and most of them, once I invited them, they literally just paid for the whole trip if they wanted to come. So it just kind of worked out that way. So it was never outside of my range of what I wanted my guest list to be. So it worked out.
Okay. That's a good point too, because you were engaged for so long. Yeah. You meet people. So
I had to remove some people after a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a long time. It was people I invited in the beginning that it just didn't work out. And so I had to literally go through the travel agent and ask them how to get them their deposit back and do the whole thing, to remove them. So, yeah.
How's the travel agent going? Who's your travel agent?
Okay.
No. Do you want to, or?
I won't tell her name, but
okay.
I am working with Liberty Travel.
Okay. Okay. That's right.
So, I remember that now. Yeah. And the reason that I'm working with Liberty Travel is because I got engaged, and I decided this a long time ago, and I used the travel agent that my nail artist had used for her wedding.
Okay.
So I already knew that she dealt with weddings. I knew that she knew all the things when we had a conversation. It was great. And not to say that she's bad, because she's not doing a terrible job. But now that I see what other travel agents do, I knew I probably should have just did a little more shopping before I just settled for one.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. You are in the community and all, so.
Yeah.
Do you remember when you found? Oh. Huh?
Oh, no, I just said I literally recommend everybody to Sarah.
Oh. But so do you remember how you found us? Do you remember that at all? It's been such a long time ago. So do you listen to the podcast or watch the YouTube channel?
I do it all.
Oh.
No, literally all of it. So I'm 100% positive I probably found you on YouTube first. Just searching destination weddings. So I'm pretty sure I found you on YouTube, and then found out that you had a podcast. So I would listen to the podcast while I was at work. And just literally, and I was taking notes, writing everything down, going Rob, this is what I learned. This is what we got to do. Yeah. And then you had the community, so then I joined that. So I'm pretty sure it's YouTube podcast community.
Okay. Yeah, you were definitely you were a super early community member. I feel like I can look, and you're probably I'm not even joking. Probably you're in the top first 5 for sure. Easily. I remember sure. You remember that. So yeah. So thank you. I'm so glad. Yay. So I want to give a special thanks to our sponsor, which is you, the Desti Lovers community. To every single member of the Desti Lovers community, I want to thank you for making the show what it is. I'm so happy to have a place where all of my Desti Bride friends can meet and discuss all things Desti. The Desti Lovers community is an extension of the show and is your safe space for sharing and collaboration while planning your destination wedding. So here's what you can look forward to. The Desti Hour live Q&As, episode discussions, deep dives, bride friend brunch connections, giveaways. What else? Oh, and of course, the hours and hours of replays from all of the tutorials and the Desti Hour calls. So yeah, the Desti Lovers community is it. So get in the Desti Lovers community. I will see you in there. But for now, let's get into this interview. Plug. If you are not a part of the Desti Lovers community, then you are missing out. So
on a lot. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and join that. Thanks. And also, we're going to do this one, and then we're going to do the follow-up interview to see how amazing everything went. And then we're going to do the Bride from Bridge too, to then talk about the real. We like to do that. Yes. Okay. So that's how you found us. Oh, wait. Okay. So you were talking about how in Mexico, when you were planning for Mexico, you were talking about bringing your vendors. So what's the plan now when it comes to all of the things? Because Pattoo Castle doesn't come with anything, right?
Right. It does not. So I was flying in my photographer, which I met my photographer first, and she introduced me to my day up coordinator, who I was flying in as well. So at the time, she was just my day up coordinator. My sister is a hairstylist, and the girl who works in her shop is literally like my sister too. So she also does hair. So they were just both, and she does makeup. So they were both going to come down and just be my glam team. So I didn't need to focus on that. And then my closest friend is a DJ. So he was going to come down, and all he had me do was, I think, pay him like $100. And then I paid for his room and flight, which he lives in Texas. So at the time, the flight was literally like $200 to $300.
Yeah, Texas to Mexico. So, to Cancun. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I had, 1, 2, 3 vendors that I was flying in at the time. And I literally just reached out to them and told them, hey, I plan on switching, and what, like, do you have anything planned at this time? Like, does this day work for you? If it didn't work for them, I probably would have had to just find a different vendor, but it worked out for all my vendors. And I think it's just because it was so early at the time. And literally everybody was jumping ship at that time. So I just kind of got in at a good time. Yeah, like we were all like...
They were losing people. So you're like, I'm just moving. So are you okay to move? Yeah.
Yep. So it worked out. And they had just kind of been understanding just because of COVID. So it wasn't like, I had to pay anything to have them switch or anything like that. But so now... Normally, a lot of the Pattoo Castle brides, they have all their vendors stay in the castle because technically I'm paying for the castle for 3 or 4 days. So they would have all their vendors stay in the castle. Over the period of time, because it's been so much time, my vendors have become literally like family to me. So I didn't want them to be like far away from me, especially my planner. Like she is God sent. I love that woman. Like if I can
shout her out.
Her name is Grace at Grace Aaron Events. She is like the best planner ever. Like I have never in my life worked with somebody who makes me feel like I'm the only client they have, and I know she's not. I know I'm not the only client that she has, but that's how I feel every time I was there. She's top tier.
And where does she? Hold on. Is she in New York?
She's actually based in Canada.
Okay.
So she's in Toronto. My photographer is in New Jersey. So.
Everybody's
the way that literally all over the place, which is another thing that kind of worked out with COVID because they have different requirements than we do for like coming back and going forth because she's in Canada and we're in the US. So that worked out a little iffy too. But so I didn't want them to stay at the castle because I wanted them to be a part of like my family and my festivities and to kind of enjoy what we've been talking about for years. So I just switched their rooms over too and just they're all staying at the castle. Not at the castle, they're staying at the Royalton with me and my family.
Is anybody staying in the castle?
At the moment, no. So because I have a second makeup artist now, just because I didn't feel like one makeup artist for all those girls would be good. So I found a makeup artist based in Jamaica. But she's in Kingston, which is about 4 hours from Negril. So she required stay. So I'm like, well, you can stay at the castle then.
Right.
Oh, I'm paying for it, girl. Go ahead. So, so yeah, but no, everyone else is staying at the Royalton.
Okay, and how many bridesmaids do you have?
7.
7.
Well, okay, 6, and then my sister is a maid of honor.
Okay, so it's you plus 7, and is it equal groomsmen?
No, so and that's kind of been a little iffy for us too. So we started off equal, but a lot of them dropped out. So I'm down to I think 4, no 3, and then his best man.
Okay, so okay,
so we're a bit off,
I guess it'll be like the girls, like one guy to 2 girls, kind of. Is that what you guys are thinking of doing?
Honestly, I'm thinking of just kind of having them, like the girls walk down and the guys walk down, and just and then just kind of make it work that way. So it's not, I don't know, the traditional walk down isn't like a huge thing for me. So
yeah, and I think that would look that always looks nice when that happens too, and each person kind of can just have their own little moment or whatever at the same time too. Okay, and how did you? So your photographer, how did you find your photographer?
Instagram. So I always knew that the most important thing to me was photography. So I'm like, that's the first thing that I'm going to find. So I was all on Instagram, just kind of looking at different people, reaching out for quotes. And at that time, those prices, I wish I still had those prices now because they are not the same now. But like my goal photographer was Stanley
Bath. Yeah, Stanley photographer.
I wanted him so bad, and I love when he did that interview with him. I'm like, wow, this is a sign from God that he should do my wedding. But he would have been a huge part of my budget at that point, and I'm like, okay, I love his work, but I'm sure I could find somebody similar. So I found my photographer. I may pronounce her name wrong. I pronounced it Nana, but I heard someone else pronounce it Nana. So Nana Anna Photography.
Okay.
And so I found her, and the way that I pick my vendors is like, so if I find you and I like your work, that's cool. But then once we have a conversation, it's like I go off the vibe. So if I feel like we're having a real conversation, you're interested in like me, I'm like interested in what you're doing. It's like great, just a great connection. That's it for me. Like I'm booking. If I could have booked Stan, and if I didn't have a good conversation with him, I probably wouldn't have booked them. Like, it's
about the vibe. It's about making sure that you personally can work together, and everybody's not for everybody. So,
that's true. And then in all, like the one conversation I had with her, the first one, she recommended Grace. She recommended someone to get me a dress. She recommended someone to get Robert's tux. This is all in one conversation before I booked her.
That's always good.
So yes, I'm like, and I also picked her because I could tell that she was not going to be a pushover. And if I say, these are the pictures that I want, and my mom come and tap her on the shoulder, like, hey, I need you over here, she's going to tell my mom, you got to wait. Like, I'm doing this right now. It's a set time for that. I'll be there for that. And she wouldn't be afraid to do that with my guests. And that was very important to me as well. Like, I need someone who has some direction, because you can't just be stepping off from my bridal portraits to go take pictures of Uncle Sam. Like, this is for me. This is for me here. So it was she was just beautiful all around. Like, it was a great conversation. So that's how I ended up booking her.
Cool. And what made you decide to hire an event planner that's not local? Because Grace was gonna do Mexico, and now you have her doing Pattoo Castle. What made you decide on that?
So talking about local, I did not want to talk bad on the city that I live in, but I would not have a planner from the city that I live in.
No, I meant the city that the wedding would be in.
Okay, I thought you meant from here. I'm like,
now I feel that.
So the reason that I ended up with her is because I'm pretty sure it was before I found my photographer, I had been listening to your podcast, and I had already knew that your day of coordinator doesn't really contact you until a couple months before. And that's
at
not
resorts,
to say that it was not to say it was a big deal for me, but I'm like, okay. And then also day of, they could have 2 or 3 other weddings that day. And that wasn't something that I wanted to happen. So then once I spoke to Nana and she kind of explained to me what a day of coordinator does and how she would be specifically there for me, it just kind of sounded like it would be a lot more beneficial to what I was looking for. And I already knew that I wanted like a production. Like I want this to be like the entire weekend. I want it to be a whole production. So I knew that like the one coordinator there who is specifically for my wedding that day, I just didn't think that she would be able to do exactly what I was looking for. So when she recommended Grace, I went to reach out to Grace, had a great conversation. I'm like, okay, I want a day of coordinator. She's actually now my full planner, but before she was just my day of coordinator.
Okay, yeah, because you were doing a resort, so the resort had their own thing. But now with Pattoo, she's doing like everything.
Has
she been there or?
She did. She went to go visit last October.
Okay.
So yeah, that worked out too because we got to FaceTime and actually see it, so it was good.
Good. Oh.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I can't wait. And actually, yeah, let's talk about your gown.
Okay.
So how did you find your gown?
Okie dokie. So I fell in love with this one gown. And it was, once I found out where it was from somewhere in South Africa. So mind you, there's a time difference. So I'm like reaching out, emailing, he's not responding. And I finally got him on the phone and I'm like, do you ship to the US? He's like, no, I do not ship dresses to the US. So I'm like, okay. Also, he had given me a price for it, which was way better than what I had already been seeing for dresses. So I had done some bridal shopping and I was looking at like $4,000 to $5,000 for what I was looking for. To say what I'm looking for, I always wanted 2 dresses. My sister and Robert were like, you don't need 2 dresses. I'm like, but watch me get 2 dresses. So I wanted a dress that I could have like the bodice, like the undergown be like a very glammed out dress and then have a big overskirt over it. So I would walk down the aisle with my overskirt, then for the reception, take it off, 2 different dresses, right? 2 in 1. So he had that and I'm like, wow, this is beautiful. So once he said that he didn't ship, I'm like, okay, maybe I should see if there's another designer in South Africa that I could reach out to also do the same thing. So went to some bridal groups kind of because there's a lot of African brides in most of the groups. So I kind of asked, like, do you guys know of anyone else that can make something similar? This one girl she gave me 2 different designers to look at. And my current dressmaker was one of them. Mm-hmm. So I reached out. She gave me a price. I put down my deposit, and mind you, this was early 2019. I did not see the dress, so we didn't start working on the dress until maybe. We didn't start working on the dress until maybe March of 2020, and I put down my deposit in 2019. And a lot of it was due to COVID because I reached out to her and I'm like, hey, COVID hit, I'm postponing my wedding. What does that mean for my dress? Time, right. She did, but she had told me that because she has other brides, she still needs to get a dress done. Now, my concern was at this point, I am now pregnant and I'm pushing out my wedding. So can we, push it back a little bit more so that I can at least, get back down to somewhat of my similar sizing? Because right after the baby, that's not my true size. And she's like, well, no, because I have to get this dress out. She still took a long time, so I don't know why we couldn't just wait. But so final dress, like final seeing the dress, was in October of 2020. So I paid my deposit 2019, didn't see the dress until, and I mean final dress, like everything put together. I didn't see like a working on it, a progress. So she sent me the fabric. She sent me what the fabric would look like on top of the other fabric. Next thing I seen was a dress. I didn't see anything in between that time. Nothing in between. The dress was nothing like what I asked for at all. So that was very devastating, but she hadn't shipped it to me yet. So she sent me a video and I'm like, hey, I don't mean to be rude, but I don't like it. She's like, oh, well, most brides don't like the dresses until they try them on. I'm like, you're not shipping me a dress that I don't like. If you got it,
this
we're gonna have to.
The dress, though, right?
Yeah, like this is not. But at this time, I'm very big on like trying to make sure that my etiquette when I'm speaking to vendors is very understanding. Just because, like, especially with COVID and everything going on, just like you have stuff going on in your life, so do your vendors. Like they have lives, they have kids. Some of them have other jobs, so when it comes to other stuff, I try my best to have good etiquette. So I'm like, I understand, but like, what can we do? Because I really just don't like the dress. And I didn't want to send her what I sent her the first time because it's like, what I sent you. But I kind of have red flags. Like she asked me to send her the sketch that she sent me of the dress. I'm like, you don't have it? So I should have took that as a red flag in the first place. I'm like, okay, maybe she just don't want to go back. I don't know. But so the dress that I got, I asked for a corset to be built inside of it. There was no corset. It did not look like the dress that I asked for.
Design-wise, it just didn't look like the dress.
Yeah, it just didn't look like it. And honestly, I just didn't like what it looked like at all. So I'm like, okay, what can we fix? So we asked her to fix the different things. And mind you, she was also supposed to make the overskirt for me. And it would be like 3 to 4 days to almost a week in between times of me texting her and her responding. Mm-hmm. So like, you can't, like, I'm anxious. Like, I don't know what we're going to do about this dress. And at this time, as a bride, you need at least like 8 months to get a dress. I don't have 8 months at this point. So now I'm screwed.
Right.
So she's like, okay, well, we can fix this. We can fix this. And then like we had phone calls at this time. And eventually she's just like, yeah, I think you just need a whole new dress. So my amazing planner knew someone who knew her, and they kind of reached out to her and was just like, like, she's not, I have a client that you're working with and I'm not hearing the best things about it. So after that, she became a lot more receptive to me. Like, she would respond to me, or at least say like message read, will be responding, something like that.
Right.
But she was still like, you need a new dress. I'm like, okay, well, how much is that going to cost? She's like, $3,000 to $4,000 more than what I just paid. Like, that's not in my budget. Mind you, I gave her a budget. It was not in the budget.
She wants you to pay for another dress when the dress that she made isn't the right dress. So she's saying you need a new dress, which means she should be making a new dress, or the real dress.
Yes, but no, because she told me it was my fault that the dress is not the way that it's supposed to look, because she sent me the fabrics, which she did, but I did not make dresses. I don't know what fabrics are going to look like on top of fabrics on a dress. Like, and you didn't send me anything in the progress of making the dress. And she also said the dress that I sent her was a reception dress, which it was a reception dress because it was going under my overskirt. So I didn't need a super long wedding dress because this is my reception dress.
Right.
So eventually it got to a point where she just said she's not fixing it and she's sending it to me just like it is. I'm like, no. So she fixed a couple things, and when it got to me, it was a lot better. So that's what we went with. Yeah. So it worked out in the end, but it was a whole mess. This was going on for weeks, so it was rough.
Yeah, I remember, you and I have been in communication a few times, and I was like, no! And then, all the things, and the final, I am excited to see the final. And it's one of those, you're going to be beautiful no matter what.
Oh, thank you.
You can rock some things, so it'll
be
good. And you're positive, you know what I mean? Like, you handled that way better than I would have, quite frankly.
Yeah.
So how are you feeling? Like, you are less than 3 months? Where are we?
Yep.
Yeah. How do you feel?
I feel good. I feel excited. I don't know, I'm just happy that all of this is finally coming to a close. But definitely anxious because all of my final payments are due, and let's not forget, we decided to be crazy and get married, have a baby, and buy a house all in the midst of planning a wedding. So, it's a lot going on at one time, but I'm just excited. I'm excited. Like in my Facebook group, I'm like I finally showed the people like where with the Pattoo Castle, because I hadn't told them like where the actual wedding was. I just told them about the Royalton because one, I didn't want to excite the other guests that did not pay into paying. Because so like
that's a good idea. Like, I want to go. No,
yeah,
if you
like
you come in no matter what. Don't. Yeah, that's a
yeah,
good.
like I wanted to hold it for my road dogs and people that had been there with me from the beginning. They switched. They decided to still come. They watched all the lives. I'm like, y'all deserve this wedding because y'all really been here with me. But like my aunts started to be like, oh yeah, I'm still coming. No. No, you're not. So like when those final payments, because there were still people in the group before the final payments because they had the deposit down. So I didn't want to put too much information in there to be like, oh yeah, I'm coming because that looked like fun. Like, nah, y'all either gonna come because y'all are coming to support me, or y'all not gonna come. So yeah, so once
I love that though.
Yeah, and I was trying to get the guest number down because baby, them prices were getting pricey with all those people, so I was trying to cut it down. So yeah, so I'm now like, sharing all that information, giving them an itinerary of like what we're doing the wedding weekend. Like they are excited. So they're excited. They're buying dresses. I made them a nice little pamphlet for like the dress code of what they should wear, different options of what to pick. They are excited. So I'm excited. And I get to my fitting for my dress is tomorrow when I took it in. So I'm gonna go try it on and see how all the changes look. So I'm excited. My bridal shower is coming up. And yeah, so I'm very excited.
Yes. Any nervousness of anything or any worries at all?
Um, no. I mean, I'm not worried about how the wedding day will go just because my planner is absolutely amazing and I know she's gonna execute and make sure everything is great. I guess the only worry would just be COVID, worried if like someone catches COVID because you still have to test 3 days before you go to Jamaica to enter. So, if someone comes back positive, if one of my vendors comes back positive for COVID and they can't come, yeah, that's like a huge thing on my mind. Like, I'm like, y'all need to quarantine. Like,
yeah, but I say the month before or a couple weeks, yeah, don't go nowhere. Okay.
Don't nobody go nowhere.
Lay low.
Sit down.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, so I feel like that's the most thing that I'm worried about. But I mean, I'm already married, so it's not too much nervousness on that end. But I don't know. I'm just excited overall. It's been a long time coming, so I'm happy it's finally all coming together.
I love that. And deciding to do the actual, like, to get married in October. How did that go? Like, how did you guys do it?
So, once we canceled, we're like, yeah, we've been engaged long enough. Like, we've been engaged long enough. They were kicking me off my mama insurance, and I needed some insurance at the time. I'm like, this is becoming practical. You're just gonna have to go ahead.
It's a business decision at this point, guys. Let's just
like,
get this.
Like we got a kid now. I think it's better if we become one a little earlier. But no, honestly, we had just been engaged so long, and we had knew that we were getting married in 2021, and now we're not. So I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like whether we push it or not, we're getting married this year. So we ended up choosing our anniversary date, like our dating anniversary date. So it's October 23rd. So we went, and his grandfather is a deacon at one of the churches here. So we literally just invited pretty much our very close family, but the family members that we knew probably wouldn't be able to make it to the wedding in Jamaica. They were invited to this ceremony that we had here because one of the things with Robert was like it's important to him that his family be able to come if we did a destination, and if they couldn't come, he didn't want to do destination. By the time it became prevalent that his family probably wouldn't make it, it was kind of too late because we'd already paid for a lot of stuff at that point.
Yeah.
So this was kind of like a really good way to still include like his family and my family member because like my dad isn't coming. So they were all present at this ceremony. So we kept it very intimate, close family who wouldn't be able to make it. And then afterwards, because we closed on our house in July, we did a housewarming. So we didn't really tell everybody at the housewarming that we were married. We haven't announced that we're married or anything like that. We just kind of kept it to ourselves and our families, just so that day is still like, this is my wedding day. Because I made it very clear, I do not want anybody in here talking about congratulations, Alexis. I don't want none of that. Yes. I don't want it. Like,
yeah.
I do not want it. So,
right, yeah. Hold that, save that. Yeah.
For the wedding. So then we had a housewarming, and it was really nice.
Oh. So wait, when was your daughter born?
So Ryan was born February 9th.
Right, yeah, okay.
Yep, she just turned 1. So she was born February 9th, 2021. We closed on our house July 2021. We got married October 2021.
That's wild. 2021 was crazy.
Yes, it was.
I mean, 2020 was crazy for you. But 2021, you guys... Whew.
We said
just one of those things. Just one of those things is enough.
Knock them all out. One and done. And get it all done in 1 year.
Oh, I love it. And you're still all smiles. That's so exciting. Oh, okay. Yeah. Are you doing welcome bags or a welcome gift or anything?
I want to do welcome bags, but at this point, it's going to come down to after this meeting when I sit down and look at my budget sheet.
Yeah.
And we see where we are, and then if it don't work out, it don't work out. But
we'll check in on that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I want to put in my I want to do a cup, and then I want to have just like different like aspirins and different things like that. And I also found like these liquid hydration packets. And I want to put those in there, and just something small, just to say, hey, welcome, and like a little itinerary to let everybody know where we are or where we'll be. Because I didn't want to like plan every single thing for every day, but I'm going to have like set times. Like, okay, you can find me and Robert here if you would like to meet us here. You can find us here if you want to meet us here, but it's not a requirement that you're there the entire time. So, yeah.
Oh.
So just a little where to find Lex and Rob.
Yes, here's where we are. Oh, and when you're keeping the baby too, don't forget that.
Oh, absolutely, because that even if there's not a welcome bag, that will be under their doors.
I'm excited. I'm very happy for you.
Thank you.
Yes, you have been very, very uplifting in the community. You've shared your story. We've talked about mental health. We talked about all of the things. And, I really, really appreciate you. And I know that this is going to be helpful. And I can speak for everyone. And we can't wait to see and hear how amazing this is going to be.
Oh, I can't wait. And I appreciate the community. You guys have got me through a lot. I've learned a lot. And I don't want to leave when I'm done.
Good, because you're not. So,
I'm not.
Absolutely not. No. So good luck.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And we'll be, and y'all stay tuned for the rest.
Absolutely.